Are you aware that a staggering 85% of American adults over the age of 60 consume cheese at least 2 times per week? Yet, a critical error is being made by nearly every senior in the dairy aisle. A mistake that could potentially shorten their lifespan. The remedy, however, is remarkably straightforward. An estimated 99% of seniors are unknowingly selecting cheeses that could surreptitiously double their risk of a heart attack and reduce their likelihood of reaching the age of 80 by 40%. It's a shocking revelation, isn't it? The cheese display in your local supermarket may appear harmless, but it conceals more dangers than most of us can fathom. In this presentation, we will uncover the 4 cheeses you absolutely must incorporate into your diet and the 4 you need to eliminate permanently, especially if you are over 60. The most alarming fact is that the single worst cheese on our list could cause your stroke risk to surge by an astonishing 80%. It's highly probable you've consumed it just this past week without giving it a second thought. These are not unsubstantiated rumors. This is based on solid, verifiable science that the general public rarely gets to hear. Let's begin with the cheeses that offer the most significant benefits to your body. At number 4, we have aged Havarti. Allow me to elaborate on why aged Havarti is akin to a superfood, artfully disguised as a delectable cheese. When Havarti is allowed to mature for a minimum of 18 months, a fascinating transformation occurs at the molecular level, converting it from a basic dairy item into a nutritional dynamo. Throughout this maturation period, complex proteins are broken down into smaller, more easily digestible amino acid chains known as peptides. Your body can absorb these compounds with much greater ease compared to the proteins found in younger, fresher cheeses. This becomes particularly crucial as we age, because our digestive systems gradually lose their efficiency in processing complex proteins. But the truly compelling part is this. Aged Havarti is a rich source of vitamin K2, a nutrient that remains unfamiliar to a vast majority of people. Yet it possesses life-saving potential. Vitamin K2 within aged Havarti functions like a sophisticated traffic manager for calcium within your system, rather than allowing calcium to build up in your arteries, where it leads to the formation of hazardous plaque. K2 actively guides it toward your bones, its intended destination. Recent German studies have demonstrated that individuals with a higher intake of K2 exhibit up to 50% less calcification in their arteries and possess markedly stronger bones. A single 1-ounce serving of aged Havarti delivers approximately 75 micrograms of K2, a quantity that exceeds what most individuals consume in an entire week. This cheese also boasts high concentrations of a beneficial fatty acid, which scientific research indicates can aid in the reduction of body fat, enhance immune system function, and potentially combat certain forms of cancer. What renders aged Havarti especially noteworthy is that the aging process naturally eradicates most of its lactose content, making it an excellent choice for individuals who are typically unable to tolerate dairy products. The beneficial bacteria that flourish during the maturation phase also generate compounds referred to as postbiotics, which can be thought of as a combination of prebiotics and probiotics. These beneficial metabolic byproducts promote gut health, mitigate inflammation, and it may even elevate mood by positively influencing the gut-brain connection. To fully unlock the benefits of aged Havarti, it is best consumed at room temperature instead of chilled, as this allows its intricate flavors to blossom and enhances the bioavailability of its nutrients for your body. The optimal serving size is about 1 to 1.5 ounces, ideally accompanied by apple slices or whole grain crackers. This pairing helps to decelerate absorption and supplies prebiotics that work in synergy with the cheese's postbiotics for the greatest possible gut health advantages. Coming in at number 3 is genuine Pecorino Romano cheese, authentic Pecorino, from designated regions of France, is not merely cheese. It is essentially an edible multivitamin that also happens to be incredibly delicious. This is a far cry from the powdered cheese found in plastic containers at the supermarket, which are frequently bulked up with cellulose and various preservatives. Genuine Pecorino Romano is produced using time-honored techniques that have remained largely unchanged for close to 900 years. This traditional methodology results in a cheese with a nutritional profile that is almost beyond belief. A mere 1-ounce portion contains approximately 10 grams of protein. However, it is the quality of this protein that is truly exceptional. The extensive 32-month aging process breaks down the proteins so completely that they are, in effect, predigested. This means that even individuals with sensitive digestive systems can typically consume it without experiencing any issues. The calcium concentration in Pecorino Romano is extraordinarily high, at about 330 milligrams per ounce, which surpasses the amount in a full glass of milk. Yet, unlike milk, the calcium in this cheese is naturally packaged with the ideal ratio of phosphorus and magnesium, ensuring optimal absorption. Researchers in France have discovered that the bioavailability of calcium from Pecorino Romano is nearly 100%, a stark contrast to the mere 30% absorption rate from calcium supplements. This cheese also provides all 9 essential amino acids in perfect proportions, establishing it as a complete protein source that is comparable in quality to meat. The aging process concentrates these vital nutrients to levels that leave nutrition experts astounded. Here is a fascinating detail. Pecorino Romano contains natural compounds called opioid peptides from casein, which are chains of amino acids that can contribute to reducing anxiety and fostering more restful sleep. It is also packed with tyrosine, an amino acid your brain utilizes to synthesize dopamine and norepinephrine neurotransmitters that are essential for maintaining alertness and focus. The cheese becomes naturally lactose-free due to its prolonged aging, and it harbors beneficial bacteria that can survive the acidic environment of your stomach to populate your gut. The ideal way to enjoy Pecorino Romano is to break it into small, irregular chunks with a knife rather than grating it, as this method preserves the cheese's unique crystalline texture. Consuming it after a meal, as is common in France, about 1 ounce, can aid digestion and deliver a perfect protein enhancement without overwhelming your system. Pairing it with a few drops of aged balsamic vinegar can further boost the absorption of its minerals. At number 2, we have grass-fed raw cheddar. Now, before the term raw causes you any alarm, let me clarify why properly aged raw cheddar sourced from grass-fed cattle is one of the most healthful foods you can possibly eat. When cheddar is produced from unpasteurized milk and aged for a minimum of 60 days, a legal requirement in many jurisdictions, including parts of the US, any potentially dangerous bacteria are naturally eliminated, while the beneficial enzymes and bacteria are preserved. These vital enzymes, which are annihilated during the pasteurization process, assist your body in digesting the cheese and absorbing its rich nutrients. Grass-fed raw cheddar can contain up to 500% more of the beneficial fatty acid CLA than its conventional counterpart, in addition to substantially higher amounts of omega-3 fatty acids. This combination creates a potent anti-inflammatory force that combats disease at the cellular level. The vitamin profile of grass-fed raw cheddar is as extensive as a pharmacy's inventory. It is replete with vitamin A in its most bioavailable form, retinol, which is vital for everything from maintaining good vision to bolstering immune function. The vitamin D content is also significant, which is particularly important given that a large portion of the population is deficient in this critical nutrient. But here is the most astonishing fact. Grass-fed raw cheddar contains vitamin K2 in the MK4 variant, which is the most effective type for preventing the calcification of arteries and supporting robust bone health. This cheese also delivers considerable amounts of vitamin E and beta-carotene, powerful antioxidants that shield your cells from oxidative stress. What truly distinguishes grass-fed raw cheddar is its rich probiotic content. In contrast to pasteurized cheeses, raw cheddar is teeming with dozens of strains of beneficial bacteria that support digestive wellness, fortify the immune system, and may even enhance mental health through the gut-brain axis. These probiotics generate short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which nourish the cells lining your colon and exert powerful anti-inflammatory effects throughout your entire body. To reap the maximum benefits from grass-fed raw cheddar, it should never be heated above 120 F, as doing so will destroy its precious enzymes and probiotics. Instead, allow it to sit at room temperature for 20 to 30 minutes before consumption. For an ultimate probiotic boost, pair it with fermented vegetables, such as kimchi or pickles, and keep servings to between 1.5 and 2 ounces to enjoy all the advantages without consuming an excess of saturated fat. And at the number 1 spot, we have Swiss Emmental. Here is the reason authentic Swiss Emmental earns the premier position on this list. It represents the most comprehensive package of nutrition, digestibility, and health-promoting properties available in any cheese. Genuine Emmental from Switzerland must be crafted from the raw milk of cows that graze on the lush alpine pastures. This specific diet and environment yield a cheese with a singular nutritional composition, the benefits of which scientists are continually uncovering. The propionibacteria utilized in the creation of emmental produce propionic acid during the aging process, a compound that scientific research has shown can alleviate inflammation, reduce cholesterol levels, and even contribute to the prevention of certain cancers. These are the very same bacteria that form the iconic holes, or eyes, in Swiss cheese and produce vitamin B12 in quantities that exceed nearly any other food source. Emmental contains the highest levels of glutathione precursors found in any cheese. These are the building blocks your body needs to manufacture its master antioxidant. Glutathione is indispensable for detoxification, immune system operation, and the protection of your cells from damage. But our natural production of it declines as we get older. The unique amino acid profile in emmental, especially its high concentrations of cysteine and glycine, helps to naturally enhance glutathione production. The cheese also packs impressive quantities of phosphorus, zinc, and selenium minerals that work in concert to support bone health, immune response, and thyroid function. What makes emmental truly exceptional for your health is its incredible protein efficiency. The mandatory 12-month minimum aging period breaks down the proteins into D and tripeptides that your body can absorb directly, bypassing the need for further digestion. This means you receive all the muscle-building and tissue-repairing benefits of the protein without placing any strain on your digestive system. Studies conducted in Switzerland have indicated that elderly individuals who regularly consume emmental maintain their muscle mass more effectively than those who derive their protein from other sources. Furthermore, the cheese contains compounds known as lactotripeptides, which have been demonstrated to lower blood pressure naturally, making it one of the very few cheeses that is genuinely beneficial for cardiovascular health. When eaten in moderation to maximize its health advantages, melt it gently into warm, not boiling soups, or enjoy it with whole grain bread, as this combination improves the bioavailability of its B vitamins and glutathione precursors. So, those were the top for cheeses. For promoting your health, now, we must venture to the darker side of the dairy case. These are the 4 cheeses that should never be allowed on your plate, particularly if you cherish your heart, your memory, and your future well-being. At number 4 are processed cheese slices, those conveniently, individually wrapped slices of cheese may be practical, but they are as far removed from authentic cheese as possible while still being legally classified as a dairy product. These processed abominations typically consist of less than 50% real cheese. The remainder is a chemical cocktail of emulsifiers, preservatives, artificial colorings, and sodium phosphates that spells trouble for your health. The sodium content in just 2 of these slices can surpass 600 milligrams, which is over a quarter of your recommended daily intake. This sodium is often in the form of sodium phosphate, which research indicates is significantly more detrimental to health than standard table salt. This specific type of sodium has been associated with accelerated aging, kidney damage, and an elevated risk of cardiovascular disease. The emulsifying agents employed in processed cheese slices, most notably polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylase, have been shown to disrupt the delicate balance of the gut microbiome and increase intestinal permeability, a condition often referred to as leaky gut. This can set off a cascade of inflammation throughout your body and has been connected to a wide range of health problems, from autoimmune diseases to mental health disorders. These cheeses also frequently contain artificial colorants like yellow 6 and yellow 5, which have been linked to hyperactivity, allergic reactions, and potential carcinogenic properties. The preservatives, such as sorbic acid and nitomycin, used to grant these products their unnaturally extended shelf life, can build up in your body over time and interfere with the beneficial bacteria in your gut. What is especially devious about processed cheese slices is their marketing as a good source of calcium and protein. However, the forms of these nutrients are poorly absorbed because of the harsh processing methods used. The extreme heat and chemical treatments destroy any beneficial enzymes and denature the protein structure, making it more difficult for your body to use. These products also contain hidden trans fats, even if the label claims 0 grams, as FDA regulations permit amounts under 0.5 grams per serving to be rounded down to 0. Consistent consumption of processed cheese slices has been directly linked to elevated markers of inflammation, higher levels of bad cholesterol, and a greater risk of developing metabolic syndrome. At number 3, we find cheese spreads in jars. Those shelf-stable cheese spreads that do not require refrigeration until they are opened should raise immediate red flags. These products are cheese in name only, often containing more modified food starch, vegetable oils, and chemical additives than actual dairy. The intensive processing needed to make a cheese product spreadable and stable at room temperature for months or even years obliterates any nutritional value while introducing a plethora of harmful ingredients. Most of these cheese spreads contain partially hydrogenated oils, a primary source of artificial trans fats, which have been so definitively linked to heart disease that many countries have outlawed them completely. Even the versions labeled trans fat-free often utilize interesterified fats, which emerging research suggests could be equally damaging. The sodium content in these cheese spreads is astronomical, frequently exceeding 500 milligrams in a tiny 2 teaspoons serving, and most people use far more than that. This sodium doesn't just come from salt. It's from a combination of multiple sodium-based preservatives and flavor enhancers that can lead to fluid retention, dangerously high blood pressure, and significant stress on your kidneys. Many of these spreads also contain MSG or similar glutamate-based compounds, often concealed under ambiguous names like natural flavoring or yeast extract, which can provoke headaches, heart palpitations, and other adverse reactions in sensitive individuals. The artificial colors and flavors used to make these products vaguely resemble real cheese have been associated with a variety of health concerns, from allergic reactions to potential neurotoxicity. Perhaps the most alarming issue is the potential presence of phthalates, which are hormone-disrupting chemicals that can leach from the plastic packaging into the cheese spread itself. These chemicals have been linked to reproductive issues, metabolic disorders, and certain types of cancer. The combination of unhealthy fats, excessive sodium, chemical additives, and potential endocrine disruptors makes jarred cheese spreads a toxic concoction that provides zero nutritional benefits, while posing a significant threat to your health. Studies have consistently shown that regular consumption of highly processed cheese products like these spreads correlates with higher rates of obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Coming in at number 2 is pre-shredded cheese in bags. This may come as a shock, but pre-shredded cheese is one of the worst choices you can make in the dairy aisle. This has nothing to do with being lazy, and everything to do with the substances they add to prevent the shreds from clumping. The anti-caking agents used, typically cellulose, which is essentially wood pulp or potato starch, can constitute up to 4% of the product's total weight, while cellulose itself is not toxic. It is completely indigestible and can lead to digestive distress, particularly for individuals with sensitive stomachs or conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. More troubling is the fact that these additives hinder the cheese from melting correctly and can interfere with nutrient absorption by coating the cheese particles. Many brands of pre-shredded cheese also contain natomycin, an antifungal agent applied to inhibit mold growth. Although it is generally considered safe in minute quantities, natomycin is, in fact, an antibiotic. Regular consumption can disrupt the delicate balance of your gut microbiome, which is a significant problem because a healthy gut microbiome is essential for everything from a robust immune system to stable mental health. The cheese utilized for pre-shredded products is often of inferior quality, made from milk that contains higher levels of hormones and antibiotics compared to cheese sold in solid block form. The increased surface area created by shredding also accelerates oxidation, which degrades beneficial nutrients and can create harmful compounds. Here is a fact the industry prefers not to publicize. Pre-shredded cheese often has higher levels of histamines than block cheese because of the extended processing and storage times. For sensitive individuals, histamines can trigger a range of symptoms, including headaches, digestive problems, skin rashes, and anxiety. The convenience of pre-shredded cheese also comes with an elevated risk of contamination. The shredding process provides more opportunities for bacterial proliferation, and there have been several major recalls in the United States for pre-shredded cheese contaminated with dangerous pathogens like Listeria or E. coli. When you consider the diminished nutritional value, the added chemicals, the increased potential for contamination, and the inferior taste and melting performance, purchasing pre-shredded cheese means you are essentially paying a premium for a subpar and potentially hazardous product. And the number one worst cheese you should never eat is blue cheese. Blue cheese acquires its characteristic look and pungent flavor from Penicillium roqueforti, a specific type of mold that is deliberately introduced during the cheese-making process. While this may be perfectly safe for many individuals, a fact that most people are unaware of is that blue cheese contains exceptionally high levels of tyramine. Tyramine is a compound that can trigger severe migraines and cause a dangerous spike in blood pressure in susceptible people. If you are taking MAO inhibitors for conditions like depression or Parkinson's disease, consuming blue cheese could precipitate a hypertensive crisis, a medical emergency that would require immediate hospital treatment. The mold in blue cheese also produces compounds known as mycotoxins. While the levels are generally deemed safe for occasional indulgence, regular intake of these toxins can allow them to accumulate in your body and potentially lead to health problems over time. Some individuals have a sensitivity to these mold compounds without realizing it, experiencing symptoms such as joint pain, mental fog, digestive upset, and chronic fatigue that they never associate with their consumption of blue cheese. This cheese is also incredibly high in histamines, which can set off a wide array of reactions, from headaches and skin hives to anxiety and insomnia in people who have a histamine intolerance. Scientific studies have revealed that blue cheese can contain up to 10 times more histamines than most other aged cheeses, making it particularly troublesome for the estimated 1% to 3% of the population. With this sensitivity, what makes blue cheese especially alarming is its sodium content and the specific type of saturated fat it contains. A single 1-ounce serving can contain over 400 milligrams of sodium, and it's sharp. Assertive flavor often encourages people to use more of it than they would a milder cheese. The saturated fat in blue cheese is notably high in palmitic acid, which research has shown to be more inflammatory and more damaging to cardiovascular health than other types of saturated fats. Blue cheese also has one of the highest calorie densities of any cheese, making it very easy to overconsume. Perhaps the most disquieting aspect is that the potent flavor of blue cheese can easily mask the signs of spoilage. Consuming blue cheese that has gone bad can result in severe food poisoning. The combined risks of high tyramine, histamines, inflammatory fats, excessive sodium, and potential mycotoxin exposure make blue cheese a very precarious choice that offers minimal nutritional reward compared to its significant potential for harm. So, there you have the definitive list for cheeses that can help you live a longer, stronger life while protecting your heart and mind, and for that could be insidiously undermining your health from the inside out. If you are over the age of 60, making informed decisions at the cheese counter could mean the difference between a future filled with vitality and independence and a lifetime of avoidable health complications. The science is undeniable, the evidence is compelling, and you now possess the knowledge to make every meal a step toward better health, not away from it.